Alright, I haven't been live on doing anything like this in so long. I don't understand. It says it does not want me to do this, is what YouTube is saying. YouTube is a very controlling type people. It's okay. Alright, well, we're right here at the computer desk. And we're about to get this thing done. So today, what we're going to be doing is the new PlayStation 5 Edge controller. So the first thing that you're going to do in order to remove these thumbsticks, if you didn't even know how, which is really cool, pretty cool. So I've already taken this off, which is very easy for the replacing of the thumbsticks. This is the way this controller works. I really want to buy one of these controllers myself. And so what you're going to do is you're going to basically lift these things up, because this is the locking mechanisms. So if you never had one of these, they're actually pretty nice. So I've already got the go ahead for the tear down for the part for the battery itself. And so what you do on this right here, if you want to change this out, it's just basically just put this thing on here and you clip it in right here in this place, just like that. See? And then you just push down. To release it, there's a release button right here. And it releases this. Pull it up. Take it out. Pretty easy. Okay, so to take off the thumbsticks. Bam. Bam. Take that out. Take it out. Just like that. Pretty easy. Alright. If you don't have fingernails, then I guess you're out of luck for this part. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get this. Alright, so it says something is locked. I don't know if it's locked. Hey, who knows? That's okay. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is this. Alright, so typically normally what you do is you go right around the sides here. This whole thing is going to pop on. Hopefully you don't chew off your fingernails like I have, like an animal. Okay, sorry. I'm a little bit of trouble. Don't know why I have this trouble, but I am today. Okay. Well, let's just figure out what we're going to use then. This is why you don't chew your nails off. Okay. Well, we got one of these things right here. This is always a nice little tool to have. What you're going to do with that? So you're going to go right here on the side. And you just kind of just pry. See? Nothing like this tool. This tool is freaking awesome, dude. This is what happens if you chew your nails off. You have to have one of these. Takes that right off. Now, this is something I was describing to this guy earlier. Unfortunately, when you do a custom for an Xbox or PlayStation 5, you cannot really modify this part of the controller. Unfortunately, you cannot. You can try it, which I'd say this is really the skin of the controller, like the skin side of it. I don't know what kind of texture this is. I'll be figuring this out soon. I think what I want to use is some type of ink or something to dye it. I'm not sure yet because it's really like a soft, like almost like a rubber feel to customize this thing, and I'll find out what I have to use to uh, customize like leather or leather. It's more like a leatherish feel to it. So I get this thing done right here, and we'll be good to go. So, but until then, we're gonna keep going. So, choose that. No offense, your triggers for looking ugly looking. This is really just the teardown of the PlayStation 5 Edge controller. It's kind of a teardown, showing what to do, where to put your stuff at. Technically, what you typically would do is get you like a bag, something to put all your stuff in. So what we're going to do today is this. All right, so we're going to get a bag here quick. Sorry, we'll just do this instead. Gonna get a bucket, little Tupperware thing. You can get one of these. You can probably get one at home somewhere. So this is the easiest way to do this. PlayStation 5 teardown for the Xbox. I mean, not the Xbox. I'm sorry. Edge controller. I don't know why I keep calling it Xbox before. So if you don't want to lose any of these, what you're gonna technically want is a like a magnet or something, which would always be good if you found one somewhere. Well, that went inside the actual magnet. And so anyway, so get your magnet. Set it right here to the side. And go from there. So here we go. Be right back. 1 second. I'm going to go respond to a text. And I'll be right back. Thing done here right quick. So let's just go ahead and get started on this. So this is why I'm doing this video, so that you can basically see the teardown of your controller or whoever's that gets this thing done. So typically what's going to be done is, like I said, whenever you lift this right here. Awesome. Got you. I see you right now. All right, so this right here is for your triggers. If you go back on my video that I just posted so far, at the first part of the video, shows how the way that all this stuff works if you don't know already. What we're going to be doing right now is to tear down this, and then pretty much going to do this part of the process so far to show that we are doing the work. I just want to show you what it all consists of. So the PlayStation 5 Edge controller is not like the regular PlayStation 5, which means it's going to consist of a lot more. Sometimes I use the magnet to hold the screws, but considering that this is the Edge, and pretty much put everything in here. So I want to show how the way this is. I'm going to move this camera view. But right, let's see how far we're going to bring it up to. Okay, let's keep it like right there. Hopefully you can see it okay. I hope so. Normally I got more light, but it's getting darker in here. We put a filter on the light because recently it's been kind of bothering my eyes for some reason. I guess because you only can deal with LEDs for so long before it starts eventually hurting your eyes. Maybe it's a part of getting old. Anyway, so this is for this. So we're going to be going with the Elden Ring instead now. No Dark Souls anymore. Or is it just you can always comment down here in the little comment box and it'll pop up and show me if you can, or you can just do it through a text message. No matter. Just let me know. I got those two images now. This is what I was saying earlier. When you see the inside of this is like a texture. Let's see what this thing will do for me. If I can get to zoom out a little bit. And maybe I could do this. It's kind of hard on the live videos on YouTube because they're not like Facebook, but you can only see so good on these videos on the live ones. Don't know why, but this texture right through here is a texture. It's more like a pleather, not leather, but not leather, but kind of like a pleather. So I'm not really sure what we're going to use to dye this, but you can use I can actually use some type of dye or whatever, like I was saying, to probably possibly dye it, because if you airbrush it, I've already typically have tried this a couple times to see what would actually hold to it versus what will not. But the rest of the entire controller is customizable, so we could do all the rest of it. It's just this piece right here is not. I don't want to say that I would be comfortable with doing that. That's why we've already done a few of them so far. We tried on the very first one. It just wasn't customizable for this, what right here was. So I got to go see what's going to be, what can actually be applied to these handles to see if we can either like dye it or whatever. Even if we just dyed it black, at least then we can add to the look. So, but if anybody has never done this before, you're going to want to get one of these tools. This is the first thing you're going to want to have. This is one of these tools right here. Definitely helps with pulling this back plate piece off in case you want to switch out your buttons or whatever. But here's the thing is, know this. As soon as you switch out these buttons, with any like clear buttons, customizable buttons, anything like that, you're going to have to modify the buttons in order to get the buttons to work. And the reason why that is because the PlayStation 5 Edge buttons itself is set up only for the PlayStation 5 Edge buttons, and that's it. Now, it will work for the PlayStation 5 original controller, only if the button actual housing for it is modified just a little bit. Will feel the exact same feel. Will still feel really good. Everything else, but this is the reason why I wanted to do this right here as well for this video, so people can see kind of how much spacing that you really actually have on the inside, not just from watching somebody else's stuff and they're just telling you or hearing about it. You can see it for your own self, your own view. It's a very small battery, very, 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 very small battery in this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this piece off right here. Definitely want to have your pair of tweezers, something to be able to pull this thing off, because you don't want to lose this piece. Whatever you do, make sure you take this little piece. Like I said, he always tries to take off and run. She, what do you want to call it? Make sure you just stick that to the side. Pretty much good to go now. Just keep on going. Make sure you get all these screws. If you need to, for a fact, record it. I would say record it so that you can go back, make sure you put the controller together properly. Because once you get done with that, you got to definitely have that. Make sure you have to see, almost rush sometimes. Make sure you take out the top screws, because some people will pry on it so hard and be like, what's going on? And you can bend that top, and then when the controller goes back together, it's kind of hard to have it fit firm. Alright, so then this right here, if you're going to customize this is the first thing at the top. First thing you're going to have is these little trigger pieces. Now, so you notice that the way this is already, it's going to be right here. That's going to be pretty much in the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off to the side, because you don't want to customize this piece, because then it will get in the way of where this is right here, where this moves up and moves down. So this is what I was explaining earlier to my buddy. So first thing you're going to end up having to do is this. So you can see how small this battery is. This battery is extremely small. So it's not like it's a big battery or nothing. It's pretty small compared to your average size battery. And so you have very little available spacing. So people will be like, okay, well, how are you going to fit anything else in here? Because it looks like we're pretty much already there. So this is why I wanted to do this right here, so I can show. This is typically, it has a three prong. Three prong is done for a reason, because it's the type of way that it has to be set up in order to put the right amount of current and voltage into the controller, so the controller in itself will know to tell it to work, in other words. All right, so let's keep going. So we're going to tear this thing all the way down. So this is the tear down. All right. This is what I was explaining earlier when I was telling you, brother, about how the way that the controller is in two parts. You'll find out very soon just how the way this works. This is what's really cool too about the videos, so that, let's say I even forget anything, at least I have the video to go back on as well, because then I know for a fact, what's done. what you do is right here for these, this is the part where the paddles are. And so you see what I'm saying? So you can tell by the way the click is, that's where the paddles are itself. Undo this piece as well. And just make sure that you got everything out here so that you don't have nothing obstructing or holding in the way. Now be very careful as well and make sure you don't have to do like everybody else does. They'll take these tweezers and this and that to try to get a good hold of this. Well, I can't get this thing undone. I don't understand. Well, I gotta pull out my tweezers. Now you can use those sometimes like this. If it's holding on pretty tight, you just pull back, pull around. That's pretty much out of place now. You can take a pair like this. Let's say this right here doesn't get a hold of it. Get a pair of dikes or whatever, and just barely grab a hold at the top and pull it up like that, and just pull it around just like that. You see what I'm saying? Now that has been released. Now you can get to this other part right here, which is your microphone that's in the front. Pull those out. Technically, this microphone right here is for Sony itself to listen to, the government, everybody else, just so they can find out what you're talking about, what you got going on. So a lot of people, 90% of the controllers I've done, I've let this out on purpose just to test to see if anybody will ever say their controller doesn't work. And guess what? Not one person has ever said that my controller does not work. So it's kind of crazy is that nobody had never ever notices that that microphone is not there. It was done on purpose as a test just to see if people would ever even notice that the microphone was not there. And what the thing is that the microphone itself is for basically everybody to listen to your conversations. Oh yeah, I'm putting on blast right now. You know, hopefully I don't get in trouble on the video, but that's what it all boils down to. That's what it is. They're wanting to listen to you, and so they can ban you on your games and say that you're talking smack to somebody or whatever. So now you know what that is. So, all right. Now once that's already undone, this piece right here is going to come undone right here. We want to take off this. Just barely just lift up. And there's that. See what I'm saying? You pull this off first. This is for the one side, and this will be right here for the next side. We're going to do the same thing here. Just easily, gently pull it up. Same thing. Be careful with these ribbons because these ribbons are fragile. A lot of people don't think that they are, but they really are, because if you don't lose a lot of money on dealing with these problems, you'll find out real quick that you don't want these problems. Or if they say, I don't want no smoke. So yeah, you don't want no smoke. Not this kind. So anyways, you can just keep going. You can undo pieces right through here, which helps lift the board off. And you know what I mean, like I said, just make sure that's completely out for that piece. So what you're going to do is this right here. You want to pull that out if you can. You see now this right here is made to where you can release this. Do not take these off whatever you do, or this. It will be a mistake. You will regret it. Because it's got this little pins and it's like springs that hold this thing in place. And if you do, it's like it don't go back in place unless you put like glue on it and everything else. So if you do that, just know this in case you forget. Don't watch it. Whatever. I'm gonna say, oh yeah, for this wise, for your top triggers and things like that to be customized, I don't recommend it because where you can, but what paint does, anything that's been customized through paint, instead of it basically being a mold, you can take an image and put an image over the top of this if you want. Then you can clear coat that. That would be more durable than what the paint would be. A lot of people are like, are you serious? Like, why? But the reason why is because where the paint itself sits right here against the table, and over time, and what you just laying it down, laying it down, laying it down, before you know it, that paint begins to chip off. Now the image won't chip. Is that what's going to end up happening is the paint itself, well, the clear coat will kind of somewhat chip, and the paint will cause it to chip even more because it's paint. Image itself is an image, and more likely you'll just have like you'll notice for every single controller that ever came out for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, every back trigger's always done that. You'll have like a little mark on the back of the triggers, and I used to whenever I first started customizing things. So you notice now I'm doing this. I would always notice that part on the back of the controller on those triggers having that markage, and I was like, no, somebody's going to say something, because since I've been in this business, I've realized that people will complain and that's just what it is. It's just this is what people do. This is what we all do. Technically, we're never satisfied. It doesn't seem to be. How we expect higher expectations out of people. Okay, so now we're finally right here. First thing we're going to do now is lift up on this right through here. All right, let's get this thing. Come on out. Trying to get it to release. All right, so I know I got everything else undone. Trying to get this thing to come out for me here. So you're gonna have this thing's in here pretty tight. So just know that. I'm gonna release this part right here for this board. Sometimes it just holds on tight. So we're gonna do that right here and now. So because you can see there's no more screws holding in place. So it's like, hey, what's going on here? Don't understand what's going on. What's wrong with you? Ah! So now you see that's what that is. Sometimes it just has a good seal, so that's all you do. Now this part right here is where this basically fits right around what this is for the microphone. For the make sure you put this thing definitely to the side because any screws or anything else is basically a magnet. It will damage that for a fact. And then you will notice your sound sounds a little funny and like, wow, I sound like that. I got this distorted speaker. Anyways, so there's that. Still going down, they're going down. This is a complete teardown. So this is what we're getting done today, right now. And then we're going to be doing these images. I would definitely prefer to do an Elden Ring for this controller. So let's see. I haven't noticed anybody say anything yet. Okay, cool. I always kind of go back and just verify and see if anybody say anything or whatnot. All right, so for this right here, so for getting the LEDs installed, I normally don't show this video, but today I'm going to just because, so you can kind of see what's going on. Now here's the thing is, for this right here to be done, for this controller itself, now these buttons right here. These buttons cannot be LED'd or anything. They just cannot be. And that's just the way that is. It just can't be. Because they don't make these right here for this trigger because it's certain design for these. Now I can customize these a different color, which isn't another problem. There's not a problem or anything like that. It's just saying those are their ones. If you want those customized, just let me know. Alright, so you gotta take off this right here, which is your brackets. These brackets right here is what holds the middle one-part piece in. Get this part done, then you're pretty much good to go on this part. There's that piece. There's that one. Well, to give you, make sure this right here really don't get scratched up too bad or nothing like that. You don't want that to get messed up. So just stick that inside your box. Then y'all pretty much should be good to go from this part. Now you finally are getting into where the buttons are. Now, if you want to customize these edge buttons, just so that you already have them, in case you ever decide you don't want to get, you're like, hey, I just not really care for my LEDs anymore. You'd rather just say, you know what, want some custom buttons. I'm like, okay, cool. We already got your buttons. We'll just keep those to the side in case you ever want to, get that done. So here's this. This is the way the touchpad is right here. It's set up different than the PlayStation 5 original controller because you can already see, number one, this is a massive touchpad. So you have to kind of get this thing to work its way out. It seems like everything's got some kind of string on them. All right, come on, let go. Let go for me. Like, I'm like, what's going on with you, dude? Let go. Thank you. This thing is holding today. This is definitely a well-built, controller piece. So now this right here, most people will try to use like some kind of heat gun, which is a terrible idea. And the reason why you don't want to use a heat gun is because you'll basically heat up all these solder points, and then it will end up basically, in the long run, can destroy your touchpad where you want it will only be functional. Maybe the buttons right here might be, but then again, it can come loose, and then one day all of a sudden it just don't work. So I don't recommend doing that ever. So, which I'll see people do that and show it on the video like it's something cool, like we're doing something so awesome with all of our machines. But it's like, dude, at the same time, you really don't want to heat up solder. So I'd say take your knife, you know what I mean? This go like this, and just work your way right through here like so. And then after you did that, you're pretty much good to go. Just get in one good side, and then you're just gonna work your way right around through that. All right. Lord willing, everything else is good here. Hold on, let me get this other piece. Where is it at? Sorry about the wait. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so then you got this piece. There you go. There's that. There's your front touchpad part. Should be good. Let's take this right here and set this to the side because it's going to be customized. So now you got 1, 2, and 3. So it looks like this right here. It's the same as any other touchpad that I've seen for a PlayStation 5 controller. Really don't see anything any different in this. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Well, so far it looks to be so good. Lord willing, we are. All right. Hopefully nothing's happened to anything. Everything else is good, and we're good to go. As far as we see, it looks like everything's fine. Now, this is the next part you're going to end up doing. Is taking out this back piece right here. This is how much this thing consists of. Like I said, it's a lot to do. And this, since it's glossy, set this inside the box as well. This right here doesn't even need to be customized until we can figure out what in the world to do with this anyway. So we're going to set that in the box too. So now we're going to go ahead and close this thing up for this part. All right, so there's that. Let's see the difference in the size between both batteries. I think we have another battery here. We might not. Not sure. Actually, you know what? I'm not sure if we have another battery here right now because we just sent out the other controller earlier. Yeah, actually we just put the other controller in, so let me see. Well, I guess we don't have that one now. Alright, well, that's all right. Then we got right here. Let's check right here one other place. My bad. Typically we normally have another battery, but not today. Wow. Okay. Alright then. Alright. That's not normal. Oh, yep, there we go. There we go. Alright, so now I can show you. So look, there's this size battery versus the Edge. You see the size and the difference? PlayStation 5 versus the Edge battery. That's like a mini battery, like for sure mini. That's very small, very, very small. Now you can see and imagine how bad the battery life will be. So that's what I was saying earlier when I was telling you on the phone, basically how this thing works. So that's for that. Now here's what I would say to do. Now this is what I was talking about to modify. You can see this is the only space that we have, period, to modify for a battery. So let's say you want to put the battery in here. Well, the first thing that we're going to end up having to do is cut this right here and then cut this other part for the space out. You can see this thing right here is raised. And so that part right there where it's raised, you cannot cut that because then you'll affect the area where this piece is right here for, these are your paddles. So that's why I was talking about customizing and cutting and modifying. So now what we can do is only can customize only so much. Now how high will this thing come up? And if it's getting right here in this area right here where you're coming into is going to be into the back part of the controller itself. And that's what we don't want to end up causing any problems with. And so this is technically where this is going to look like this, if you see what I'm saying. Now the only thing that most people would do for this part, and let's just get this piece right here so I can kind of get an idea. So I can show you kind of what I'm talking about. What it is this thing right here is going to sit here. Sorry, like this, and that's just pretty much what secures that. So where that thing's going to secure that, this is the only available spacing that we even have it anyway. Now the thing is that this part right here is what holds it in for the part where the charging port is going to be at right here for this. If you see, now we can just go back and then we can examine from where we're at now to see what we're looking at. I just want to do this anyway because I noticed that nobody else has advertised this, which I don't understand why nobody's trying to make the battery bigger so far. And if they haven't, then I guess they're just pretty dumb. Whatever. Anyway, so this right here just really it secures that you won't never break your charging port. So that's what that's all about. And you can see that's your available spacing, which is like none. So in other words, where this thing ends at, that's it. Well, that I had to view it, so now I know for a fact what we're looking like. That kind of sucks though, because now I know exactly where we're at, and that's not good. That's kind of like terrible. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see what we can figure out here. Now, possibly what I could possibly do is take two of these batteries, the same size. I had this other battery that I got over here, and I can always add to this. It's a small battery, and we can add some to your battery life. That battery's like $10 though, just for this battery. So it's something that you know how where you get your headphones. So for headphones itself, you have a small 3.7 volt battery that goes inside of the headphones. And so let me see if I got it here somewhere at one of these drawers. If I do, then we can possibly use this to make this thing work. I figure I'm going to go ahead and check this out now since we're already in here. And go from there. Okay. Alright, I'm trying to find it. I don't think I used them with this controller that I know of. I had it the other day. One second. Maybe not. Maybe I don't have it. Thought I had it. I must not be here. It must be in the storage room. I got a storage room full of a bunch of controller parts. So I can go look there and see what we got. I'd say that's probably the only option right now for this in order to change it for the battery life size and stuff. But yeah, that's where we're at so far on that. I'm trying to see if we got anything. Trying to see what we got. Well, sometimes we get extra batteries here. Probably gonna have to order that PS3 battery or see if I can find a smaller battery that's smaller than the PS3. This is the PS4 battery that I have right here. Let's see what the PS4 battery is looking like. It looks like it's too wide. Yeah. PS4 battery is too wide because what it is it has to sit right here like just like that, and it's getting really close. That's super close. I wonder if I could even be able to do that. Okay, it looks like that's like right on. Like, that's not it. It's just too big. That's the only question is that if the battery right here was really sitting right there, yeah, even with modifying, it still would not fit. Not for this one. That's the PS4. So, tried it. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're pretty much there. I'll have to go find another battery. But until then, this is where we're at. And that's what we was able to get done so far. So I guess I'll have to figure out if find another battery even the same size, and then we can combine both of them together. Pretty sure that the back shell will still hold in place. Even with that being said, just even try it out and see what we got. So, all right, well, that's it. I guess we'll see y'all soon.